welcome to MST episode 34, where we're going to be covering the NBA this episode. You know, you got to cover Draymond and KD, that beef, implications, what's going on in Golden State. We also got to talk about Melo, what's going on, where Melo's going to land, his impact, his legacy. But also, we got to talk about LeBron in LA, turning things around and also going to the top 5 all-time scorer in the NBA. So we'll talk a little LeBron among other things going on in the league. But first things first, we got to talk about this Golden State drama. I mean, they're the best team in the league, and it's certainly surprising, but it's one of those things that, you know, all the LeBron stands and really fans of the NBA have been waiting for. And that is some sign of vulnerability from the Warriors. All right, so it's a tie basketball game, 106-106 against the Clippers early in the season, and Draymond gets the rebound. Immediately, you know, there's less than 10 seconds left in the game. So KD's like, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball, because nobody can guard me. And Draymond just ignores him, goes down the court, loses the ball, and then you go in overtime. I think ultimately they ended up losing that game, and then they had you know, the meltdown. The meltdown happened later on in that game, and that's where everything that a LeBron fan or just a fan of NBA that's not a Warriors bandwagon fan has been hoping has come to fruition. And that's that the Warriors, this is the last stand for the Warriors as we know it. And this is the last year. And they may not even win this year because KD is a sensitive dude. And let's just be honest, Draymond Green is a sensitive dude. We've seen very, very small things set Draymond off. And he has his, like he said, he wears his emotions on his sleeve. But that's the deal, is that you got to be able to just keep a professional level. And that means checking your emotions sometimes for the greater good. But you know what? Maybe they're satisfied with it. They're not striving to go and be greatness better than what Jordan did or whatever. Because, I mean, that's what they could have done. I mean, if they could have stuck around, if they can, which they haven't broken up yet, but if they can stick around, you know, they're just in their 30s now. After this year, it's still plausible for them to win 2 more championships and win 5 in a row. Yeah, we knew that the 3-peat is still on. You know, that's still nothing that's canceled or anything. I do think it's a little bit in jeopardy. We'll see how both KD and Draymond play with the rest of the team for the rest of the season. They got plenty of time to get over it, so that's one thing that's good for them. But clearly, there's some type of disconnect. There is animosity between them, and it's showing up in their play. KD did okay, 20 points, but Draymond 0 points, not a lot of assists. We'll just see how it goes from here. But one thing we do know for certain is that it's very, very unlikely at this moment that KD resigns with the Warriors. I mean, Draymond's telling him how he feels, and Draymond's not going to apologize, and that's the fault of Draymond because what are you gaining out of this feud? You're not Draymond. You're not gaining anything. Okay, it's stupid. It really is stupid. And for him to do this is an idiotic thing. But KD, I'm not saying he's going to go to the Lakers, but I honestly think a good spot for KD to land is Philadelphia. Because Philadelphia, if he won in Philadelphia, he would get the credit. He's a bigger name than anybody on Philadelphia's team, but yet you add KD to Ben Simmons, to Jimmy Butler, into Joel Embiid. I don't know how any team in the East is going to beat them. And then you're going to get to go up against the Warriors, which don't have KD. They have KD. I mean, they will have just the same old, same old. We don't know who they could sign. They could get somebody else, you know. Boogie could stay there. We don't know what's going to happen there. I mean, that's a lot of things. What else? But just as of right now, you know, everybody likes to say KD would go to the Lakers, right? And I don't have anything against that. It's just that KD had an opportunity to join or force his way into Cleveland with LeBron, but he chose Golden State ultimately. Not to say that LeBron had a lot of cap space, but I mean, you can always, if you really want a chance, like if you really want to play with LeBron, he was a free agent. He could have tried to make that happen. He could have. There's different things you can do on the low to try to make that happen. But he wanted to play with Golden State. I mean, he could have signed with Houston. People have more respect. He could have signed a lot of other places, but he chose Golden State, who had just won 73 games. And the reason why he chose them is kind of clear that he just wanted the easiest way to get a ring. And that's why it's hard for people. Even his own teammates don't respect him. Draymond Green and a lot of teammates on the team didn't disagree with what Draymond said. They are like, yeah, he was pretty much spot on. Like, that's the unfortunate thing for KD. And um, I'm just saying that at this point, I don't know why he would go sign with them. I mean, the biggest thing about LA is that it's LeBron right now. And if he's trying to make a name for himself because he's upset at the way Golden State treated him, in the sense that they treated him like he was just a role player, right? Like, oh yeah, we did this without you. We can do it without you again. Um, I don't know if going behind LeBron's shadow is the best way of fixing that. And that's what he would be doing. He'll be behind LeBron's shadow and not the captain of his own ship. So in Philly, he can be the captain of his own ship and still be the best team in the NBA. I don't know whether a team does that because Houston, again, they still don't play a lot of defense. And you got to deal with Harden. Harden, you already played with Harden before. You know how, he was coming off the bench then, but I mean, it could work. I think Houston is interesting too, but I don't know if they have the cap space as much as I'm pretty sure Philadelphia will be okay because Butler, his cap won't be hitting when free agency opens up. They can sign KD first, and then they can go over the cap with Jimmy Butler. So um, that's something to keep in mind as well. But I guess Chris Paul's not a free agent, so they signed somebody again to stay longer. So, but that's just my take on it. I think that it's pretty clear that the dynasty's over. That was proven by Draymond's apology, because in his apology, all he did was say, "Yeah, I said what I said. That's just my emotions getting the best of me. I'm not going to hide from my emotions. I do this and that." Like, he stood up for his emotions and admitted there was his emotions that said it. So basically, he's saying, "Yeah, I said it. Whatever. It's not wrong." And then he went on to say, "Nobody's going to defeat this team. If Kevin or Clay decides to leave, I'll support them." That's like, come on, man. That's not even meeting halfway. You need to. He never apologized for what he said to KD. He never apologized for what he said to KD. He just said, "Yeah, that was my emotions talking." Your emotions are a part of you. So that was you talking. Like, you're not deviating the blame away from yourself. You're responsible for your emotions, and you did this in the middle of a game, and what you said was like over the line stuff. Like, it's not the type of stuff that you would say in the middle of a game. It must mean you've been thinking this for a long time for you to just burst it out in on national TV. You can't be that dumb. You can maybe say it in a locker room when nobody can see it or something else. Like, I don't know. Like, obviously, people gonna find out a lot of things nowadays. So it's just, why is that benefiting you, Draymond? So it was just stupid, stupid thing to say. And there's no way you can come back from this because now KD knows how you really feel. So KD's going to be gone. That's without a doubt. It's just a matter of where he goes. Obviously, if Boston could make it work, man, Boston would be so good. Philly, of course, would be really good in LA. All right, so for our next topic, recent news: Carmelo Anthony appears to be parting ways with the Houston Rockets, which is truly, truly a sad story, considering where this guy has fallen from since the Knicks days, where that stop was going to be the stop that was going to turn him into a superstar, to a legendary superstar. And all it did was pretty much ruin his career. As since then, he's went to Oklahoma City, ruined that team, and now went to Houston, where he was ruining their team. And they just said, we've had enough, and they're just getting rid of him. So we got Big Jerm on the phone to talk about just Carmelo in general, how he feels about the subject. So how do you feel about it, Jerm?
Well, I kind of saw this coming. I mean, once Carmelo couldn't make it work in OKC, it was kind of obvious that it wasn't going to work in Houston. Carmelo, like you said, has come a long ways from being traded to the Knicks, and the Knicks are, celebrating that they get Carmelo. And I think there was some Houston fans that celebrated that they got Carmelo too. But at this point, the idea of having Carmelo is much better than actually having Carmelo. It's weird, I guess, because under any other normal circumstances, there's nothing for Carmelo to be ashamed of. He's a Hall of Fame player. He's probably, the easily top 75 player historically.
He's a gold
But
medalist.
he's a gold medalist several times over. Um, it's just the fact that he's never been a champion. And his contemporaries, LeBron and Dwayne Wade, have been. And so that always will haunt him. It's almost like, similar to some of the guys that came with Jordan in the 90s. Kind of like your Hurts, Karl Malone, and uh, just Charles Barkley, those players, they never got that ring, and so their career never really feels complete. And so Carmelo's going to feel the same way. People look down on him more so than they should. Even though he was, one of the best in the NBA offensively for a very long time.
I would say this. I think he brought up an interesting point, especially considering the recent addition that Kevin Durant made with the Warriors. You know, what if Carmelo had done something similar and partnered up with the Spurs? When they had Kawhi and they had a lot. The Miami and the Spurs were going back and forth. That would have definitely changed the tide. We might be talking a different story about Carmelo because he'd probably have a ring or two. So I mean, that's back to the segment we said above. I mean, earlier, Carmelo was one of those type of guys like KD. Think about the way you're looking at Carmelo right now versus the way you're going to look at KD. He's still going to always have those 2 rings and possibly 3 rings because he decided to jump on the best team in the NBA or second best team in the NBA and guarantee him a ring. Had Carmelo done that earlier, we might be thinking a lot differently of him as he looks like he's going into retirement within a few years.
I will say this: the difference between Carmelo and KD is that Carmelo never been an MVP level player. He's never been the best player in the league, or considered one of the top 2 or 3 best players in the league. He's probably been top 10, top 5 on occasion, but top 1 or 2. I think we'll always look at KD as, even if he never got a ring, in a little bit more favorable light than Carmelo. Carmelo's been kind of butt of many people's jokes the last 5 years, and I don't think KD would have ever got to that point, to be honest.
I mean, I guess that's a little bit interesting. The only thing it makes it a lot harder to win MVP when your peak is with LeBron's peak, right? So, LeBron's peak, if LeBron was peaking around Kevin Durant's time, because Kevin Durant's considerably younger, it may have been a little bit different as far as whether or not. I mean, he did go off that one. I think he averaged over 30 something points. And MVP voting is always kind of finicky, anyways. If there's 2 really great performances, you never know who they're going to go with. They may have just went with LeBron just because he might have been on the best team that year. But I think that's still a fair point to bring up that Carmelo has never really been as close to winning MVP as Kevin Durant, who actually won MVP. So, um, yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I still feel like it would definitely, you can't deny it would be a different type of like you wouldn't pity him. Like I literally pity Melo a little bit because here's a guy who took the money, right? He was in New York, things weren't working out or he didn't know how they were going to work out. He had an opportunity to go somewhere else, but he took the 125, $150 million, which was a crazy contract at the time, instead of going to a contender. That's what happens when you play for the money. All right, so before we go into the next topic of talking about how LeBron has now become the fifth leading scorer in NBA history, just go over some of the news that's been happening lately. Curry has been hurt with a groin strain to miss at least 3 games. So they've only played 1 or 2 of those games, so he's going to be out for another 1 to 2 games. Wouldn't be surprised if it turned into 3. A groin is an injury that you don't really want to rush back from, and you always expect you'll be out there sooner than you really are. Um, of course, Levert had that gruesome injury. If you haven't seen it, go look at it. But his bone was like sticking out of his skin again, and the
No,
crazy,
I don't want to see that.
the yeah, the craziest thing about that is that Derrick Rose was on the court when Paul George had his injury, Levert had his injury, and when Gordon Hayward had his injury. So he was on the court for all 3 of those gruesome injuries, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm kind of effed up now." Other than that, I mean, we've seen the Lakers turn things around. The Sixers with Butler, they still got to figure things out. But we, of course, talking about the Lakers turning things around, people were quick to jump on them. But if you look back now at the Western Conference, they're sitting at 8-6, 1 game behind the Oklahoma City Thunder, who's 9-5. Clippers are 9-5. They're not going to stay up there. Neither are the Grizzlies at 9-5, and Portland clearly isn't going to stay there. The Lakers have beaten them twice during this last run, and they've beaten Denver. So all of those teams have 5 losses. Look for them to drop some games as the Lakers steadily make up ground. And I mean, really, yeah, who's to say the Lakers can't finish second in the West Conference? That's definitely plausible at this point of the season. Houston's coming back up. They're 7-7. So now once they get Harden back, I would expect them to make a bit of a run as well. But this episode. We're going to finish off talking about LeBron because LeBron is now 5th all time in the NBA at scoring. Okay, scoring the basketball, which is the point of the game, and which is a lot of people would say not LeBron's strongest. That's not his strongest skill. Um, I think that's wrong, but because I think scoring has a little bit more to do than just putting the ball in the hoop, is setting up people to score. And he has that mental capacity to just see so many steps ahead of the defense that he creates opportunities for other people to score and himself to score later on. But uh, yeah, 5th all time. He has a very good shot as anybody ever to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's all-time NBA scoring record. And if he gets the all-time NBA scoring record, and even if he gets just really one more ring, he'll have rings with 3 different teams. He'll have the all-time scoring record among a ton of other records, which Michael Jordan would no longer have, including the all-time playoff scoring record. He would have turned around 2 franchises. Now, granted, the Lakers is not a losing franchise. That's not a losing brand. But they had been the worst team in the NBA over the last like 5 years. He would have turned around 2 different franchises to get them rings. Really, 3 if you want to say that teams that did not make the playoffs before he got there. He not only took them to the playoffs, but took them to the finals and won a championship with all 3 teams. And he's done it with Cleveland twice. He only won the championship once, but he's taken them to the finals in 2 different iterations twice. I mean, that's still 2 different completely teams, both which were the worst team in the NFL. I mean NBA. So he's turned Cleveland around twice, which is pretty impressive. I mean, obviously Jordan has his own statistics and characteristics about him that makes him different and the things that he does better than LeBron James. But if he gets the scoring, I guess, record in the NBA and he gets another ring, 2 rings is not even a debate. Not even a debate if he gets 2 more rings. 1 more ring, I still think you got to. It's already pretty evident that I think he does more on the court than what Jordan did. But let him get 4 and 5 with that record. It will put this debate is only a debate now because LeBron's still playing, and the Jordan fans want to keep just let him finish. There's no point of keep shoving it down somebody's throat. That oh yeah he's not better than him yet. He's not better than him yet. Well, is he done playing the way that guy was done playing? Jordan didn't finish playing till he was 40. You think LeBron's going to be any different? LeBron's going to keep playing till he's 40. So he's still got another 5 years in him. and he's got youth on his side now, and they're one superstar away from being favorites, especially if KD leaves. Unless KD goes to Philly, that will be interesting. But regardless, if he leaves out the West, then which it probably would be smart. If you're not joining the Lakers, the smartest thing to do would be to get out of the West. Yeah, LeBron would definitely be back on the map as terms of favorites to win the championship if the Warriors break up. Yeah, we know Michael Jordan went to college, but that also speaks to how he wasn't as ready to play as Jordan was. So as far as the best NBA player, because that's what you're judging him on, his NBA career, LeBron's better.
I think I have to agree with you. As somebody who is an '80s baby and grew up, watching Jordan play and do all these crazy things. People would normally say LeBron's the better all-around player, but Jordan was the better scorer. It's hard to make that case when LeBron is going to pass Jordan in scoring, and it just speaks to how good LeBron is that we don't see him as a scorer like Kobe and Michael, and he's every bit as much as dominant in that factor of his game.
Ineffective.
So he's top 5 now in scoring. He's top 10, I think, in assists, 10 or 20 in assists, and he's like top 50 in rebounds. And so nobody else in the history of the league can say that. So he is just dominant on various levels of the game, and he is a better player. He's just as good of a scorer as Kobe and Michael were, and he can do so many things else for everybody else. That Cleveland team that he took to the finals last year. I mean, that team was not good. That who was the second best player on that team? J.R. Smith, Kevin Love. Those are typically not going to get it to you, and he was able to will that team to a championship. Similarly, like his first team that he got to a finals, where he just didn't have any help, and it was just him, and he willed the team to himself to a finals appearance. Now it got swept by the Spurs, but still, LeBron is a guy that we are going to appreciate for years to come.
Yeah, I agree. So, well, that's all we got for you this episode of MST. Tune in. I won't say next week. We're actually going to do some episodes. I'm going to try to do a FIFA episode. I might do the picks for the NFL. And then, of course, college hoops is coming up as soon as some meaningful games start to pick up. And we'll get you another college hoops review or preview of the upcoming season, since college hoops don't really start until they get close to conference play, or they at least get to those holiday tournaments. So we're not there yet, but it is coming up soon. But until next time, guys, peace.